Hey, my name is Laura Ferry, and welcome to the My Inner Struggle podcast. I'm talking everything personal growth, lifestyle, and business with real life experience sprinkled, everywhere. If you're new here, welcome. This week in the Self Love Club, which is my online membership, we're talking about self-doubt. So I wanted to bring that into the conversation because I think that's something that a lot of us struggle with. And I found a quote that I wanted to share. And I don't know who wrote it, but it's not mine. And it is, courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the feeling the fear and doing it anyway. So I want you to carry that with you through today. This one was a big for me. As I evolved, I realized how much I depended on other people when I couldn't make a decision for myself, for my family, in the dating world, all of it. I had to ask many different people in my life whatever their opinion was. And the thing is that I didn't have enough confidence in myself to form my own opinion or make a decision on my own fucking life. How crazy is that? Because of the self-doubt that I had and the lack of confidence that I had. So I'd like to do a deep dive on 5 ways to conquer your own self-doubt. Let's go. So let's go. Self-doubt is defined as the feeling of uncertainty or lack of confidence in your abilities, decisions, or worth. It's when you question whether you're capable of achieving something or if you're good enough to succeed. And I think at some point, all of us have struggled with self-doubt and lack of confidence. I have to imagine. I struggled with that my entire life. And I still, in certain instances, have that feeling that I need to work on. But as we gain traction in those areas, we become more and more confident. So I want to talk about 5 ways to sort of conquer that self-doubt within yourself, and things that what I want you to walk away with is these tools that you can ponder and continue to dive deeper on. And if at any point in time you're listening or you're going through your own transformation and you need help, reach out to me. I love helping. I love listening and just paying it forward. I'm in a spot now in my life where I feel way more confident than I ever have, ever. And I want everyone else to feel that same joy and happiness that I feel within myself, even though all of the circumstances around me are not perfect. Look at my hair, for instance. And I'm drinking a cup of cold coffee right now that actually just really tastes really good. So I haven't bothered to reheat it. Plus, I hate reheating coffee, but I put some cinnamon in the grounds and I've been doing that lately. And it's pretty dang tasty, I have to say. So I want you first, as one of the steps, to challenge your negative self-talk. And those are the things that we're saying to ourselves all day long. Literally, as I'm pressing record on this and I hit a button or I knocked the tripod over and I'm like, dummy. But then I'm like, no, you're not. This is fine. It doesn't matter. I think that we like to make a joke of it with people too. Because it can be funny. We can laugh at ourselves. We can certainly laugh at ourselves, and we should laugh at ourselves because of the silly things that we might do. But when you're really putting yourself down, it's kind of a problem. I actually have a good example of it in a previous relationship that I had, and we were looking for something at Home Depot, and he couldn't find the lid to this bucket that he was looking for. And he's like, well, it says it's there. I can't find it. This is stupid, very reactive to the situation. And I was like, oh, well, let me take a look. Maybe I'll see it, or it's got to be around there somewhere. We know they have it somewhere. So we go to the end cap and it's like right there at my eye level. And he sat there beating himself up for a good like 5 minutes. He's like, oh, I'm so fucking stupid. Why didn't I even see this in front of me? And I don't think I even realized the severity of the negative self-talk until that moment. And I was like, wow, that is crazy. Why would you beat yourself up for not being able to see something? But we do it all day long. It was always about my weight or my appearance mostly. I felt confident in what I had to offer, always like in work and business. But my lack of confidence, and my cat's going to walk through here, my lack of confidence was always related to my look, my outward appearance. And that's kind of silly too. So how can we conquer this? And one of the things is you can stop and ask yourself, is this really true? This is what just happened to me when I knocked the tripod over when I'm trying to plug all the shit in to record the podcast. And I'm like, oh, well, that was dumb. But really, am I dumb? No, it was an accident. I knocked over the tripod. It doesn't really matter. And everything's fine. I survived. But challenging yourself with but if you're really in it and you're really putting yourself down for a lot of things, mine was, like I said, always about my outward appearance, about my weight, about what I had to offer people in a conversation. And a positive statement that you can redirect with that is, I might not know everything, but I can learn and improve. And I think that's why I love learning so much, because I feel like I have more to share when I'm learning too. So if that makes any sense. And a lot of what I'm working through comes out in the podcast and in the blog. If you haven't read it, it's at myinnerstruggle.com. Because that's what I'm working through. And so that gives me a good topic, but you're following me along in my journey, because we're forever growing and becoming ourselves. So think about how you can redirect that thought, that negative self-talk. You are worth a conversation. That was something that I really struggled with for a long time, was feeling that I was worthy and that I had something to offer other people. Forget a partner, because I was married at the time. But what I had to offer other people in terms of a conversation or my kindness or me, essentially. So that's really important. By challenging the thoughts, you can begin to shift your whole mindset around that. And it becomes almost like, if you're in yoga, if you've ever taken a yoga class, or if you're in meditation and they say to soften the body, soften your mind, be kinder to yourself. Leading into number 2, practice self-compassion. That was the topic that we actually started with in the Self-Love Club a few weeks ago. Practicing your self-compassion, being kinder to yourself. When self-doubt creeps in, it's often coming from being overly critical of yourself. Well, that was stupid. Why did I say something like that? Be kinder to yourself. And how to conquer that, give yourself some grace. I did my best with what I had at the time. I see a lot of this actually in my own experience. I remember my mother talking about, and she's been gone for a long time, but I can remember her reflecting back to like when we were kids and how she would say, I didn't do good enough or whatever. And she was clearly beating herself up about it. And even through all of the abuse and things like that, the only coming to heal from all of that, and the only thing that I can say is that she used the tools that she had the best way she knew how to use them at the time. I really wish that she had worked on herself a little bit more, because that would have just then sprinkled out into everything else. But it doesn't really matter. But we are using the tools that we have at any given time the best we can. And if you're not using your tools, that's when you can focus on that self-improvement. But if you're using the tools the best that you know how at this moment, if you're in survival mode, if you're just trying to get through, if you are conquering and working on the relationships in your life the best that you know how, give yourself some grace. I'm doing as good as I can right now, and tomorrow I'll do better. Whenever my kids, I ask them to do something, or they have a chore, I can't even think of an example off the top of my head, especially my youngest. And she's like, I'm sorry. And I was like, you don't have to be so sorry. Let's just do better. Let's just do better. That's the point that counts. The action item. We can talk and talk and talk about doing better, or treating people better, or doing things in good service, or treating ourselves better. But until you take action on doing that better, it's just going to stay the same. So utilize those tools in your toolbox. Practicing self-compassion reduces the sting of self-doubt, the things that we're beating ourselves up over. And it makes it much easier to bounce back from whatever happened, per se. Say you had an argument with a friend or something like that. No, taking accountability for your part in that, or your role in that argument, is huge. Taking responsibility for yourself is huge. Even if, you're struggling right now, whether it be financially or emotionally, take responsibility for that, take accountability for that, and then do better. Focus on small wins. That's number 3, focusing on the small wins. And that is something that I strive to really, really drive forward in the Self-Love Club. We usually will share our weekly wins. And this week I didn't really post that. And I posted something last night on a Sunday evening. And I wanted to know a weekend win. This weekend for me, and this was actually a big win, and this is something that I've been struggling with for a little while since I've really been diving into my business, is handling all of the things. And it makes me lose my confidence as a mom, and that I am able to handle it all as a mom, as a business owner, as a single mom, as a homeowner, as all of these things. And I got so much done this weekend by asking for help. My kids stepped up and they helped me, and we worked as a team for like 2 hours. 2 hours out of your whole weekend. And I lunged forward on so many things that I've been kind of overwhelmed thinking about, that have been on my list. And now I can keep going. And so when you focus on those wins, instead of feeling that self-doubt about what your role is in whatever activity it is or project or whatever, it really helps fuel future success. So breaking your goals into smaller, manageable, more bite-sized pieces, and then completing those tasks and checking them off makes you feel more confident that you're able to achieve that goal. When you're looking at something in this big, like, open space, it feels very overwhelming. But when you can break it down into tiny pieces, it'll help us digest that a little bit better, just like we're chewing our food, right? Like, so when you look at this giant plate of food, it might feel a little overwhelming, but when we cut it out into small pieces, we can take it one bite at a time. Same thing with your tasks. We were able to clean out both attics. I have an attic above, like, the main level of my house, and then above the garage. And there wasn't a bunch above the garage, but some missing Christmas decorations that have been gone for a good 15 years. And we were able to get those down and get the attic emptied out so that I can have it all in one space, so that I can organize even more. And that's just like a home task that has been on my list for a while, because you need things that, when you have the right tools to get what you need done, you're more successful. And so right now it's like, I'm always at the mercy of someone else to go up into the attic, because I don't do ladders, and I'm not going off the top of one into the ceiling to get the stuff down. So I'm always at the mercy of someone else to do that. But if I can bring it all down into a space where I can reach everything, even if I have to climb on the ladder in the garage, it's a lot different than going up off the ladder. And so when I can take something and be able to do it myself, that gives me a lot more confidence as a single mom, as a person, as a homeowner, that I don't have to rely on someone else to get that task done. I can own that myself now. And that gives me confidence and self-reassurance to move forward. I know that seems silly, but when you think about it, if you're on your own, and you can't do something for yourself, you feel a little sorry for yourself sometimes, or you feel like, you can't ask for too many favors. So when you can have something and the tools to be able to do it yourself, it gives you a little bit more confidence in that department. So that was big for me. And then again, completing the small tasks gives you progress and traction on those and a little bit of confidence to move forward. So number 4 is interesting because it's a shift from perfectionism to progress. And I think it was last week that I had said that someone in my life used to say, done is better than perfect. And I used to hate that saying when they would say it, 20 plus years ago. And now the thing is that when we focus on having it being perfect in whose eyes, yours or someone else's, what are we looking for? And so that feeds self-doubt, making you believe that anything less than being perfect is like flawed. And that's simply not true. That's okay. We're on this journey. If we can only go 80% of the way right now because that's all we have the time for, that's all we have the resources for, or whatever, then do it as best you can with the resources that you have now, and then keep building on it later. It does not have to be perfect. Done is better than perfect. Embracing a growth mindset, and it involves focusing on progress, not perfection. And you probably see that hanging, at the doctor's office or something like that. Understand that mistakes are part of that learning process. We often fail forward more than not, meaning we're learning from our mistakes. So that's okay. So let go of that perfectionism and just focus on the progress and the things that you can do each day to get you closer to where you want to be, whether it's a goal, for your career or a house or a financial goal or whatever it is. Focus on the progress, not being perfect. Done is better than perfect. Sometimes we have to let that feeling go that it has to be exactly what we envisioned to get to the next step. And maybe in the end, it'll be better than what we imagined. Give yourself some grace. We're not perfect. We're not meant to be perfect. We make mistakes, and that's okay. The last one is surrounding yourself with support. I have, this is one that I really, 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 really can attribute to like my personal growth success, I would say. I started off, on my journey of growing, or working on myself, I should say. And I was married at the time. And so you go through all these ebbs and flows of relationships in your life and things. And in 2023, lost all of these relationships that I thought they were super important to me, but they obviously weren't reciprocal, and that's okay. It sucked. It hurt. But when you're finally left to grow through those things on your own and then slowly coming out of it and meeting different people in your life that actually support you and your vision is way different. I was on the phone with with a cousin of mine this weekend, and I love her dearly. And we didn't really connect as adults for a really long time. We weren't really super close as kids, but now we're connecting more than ever. And we both had these different growth, in our lives. And her last relationship had ended just when my marriage was ending, and we had connected then. And then we've been kind of doing our own thing for the last few years. And I reached out to her just for someone to connect with. And I didn't really even imagine that we would be where we are now. And she's like a sister. She supports my vision. She asks, how I'm doing on these individual things. And it's neither one of us are sacrificing or pouring out of our cup in sacrifice for the other person, if that makes any sense. It's just really healthy and good, and it feels really, really good. And that's just one of the relationships that I've been manifesting in my life, is just supportive people. So self-doubt can be magnified when you feel isolated or unsupported. And mostly, I think I want to say unsupported. I'd much rather be alone, as hard as it is to say that. I'd much rather be alone than sitting in a room of people that don't have my back. Think about your circle. Are people supporting you, or are they criticizing you? Or, that can be super uncomfortable. And it doesn't mean you have to cut people off. That was a lesson that I had to learn. It doesn't mean that I have to cut people off, but you get into this self-protect mode. It means that you need to build in another direction and keep filling every aspect of your life with positive things, and you'll continue to grow towards those positive relationships. And maybe some of those people will follow along eventually. Maybe they won't, but that's okay. That's their story, not your story. So building a support network of people that uplift and encourage you is probably the most important thing I think that you can do. And that comes over time. It's not, some of these things are beyond our control, but if we continue to expose ourselves to positive things, classes or networking events, with like sort of a positive growth mindset, those are the people that you'll attract into your life. When you walk into a place and you can't look up and your eyes are to the floor, or you're not confident in yourself, you're not going to attract those people. So when we work on our self-doubt and reassure ourselves and work on our confidence, we can walk into that with that. It's like this whole cycle. Once we're more confident, we attract more confidence, and then it just keeps growing and growing and growing. It's really fucking cool. So letting go of those relationships that are not good for you, super uncomfortable. And it's really tough when you're used to asking everyone around you what they think about your life, but you're the one that's living it. And there was a quote, something that I heard recently that I've heard before. I don't know who says it, and I'm probably going to murder it right now, but it was something along the lines of, if they haven't been in your situation, don't ask them what they would do. They haven't been in your situation. Although it's good to get an objective opinion sometimes about something that you might be struggling with. I wasn't doing it in a healthy way. I would ask this person that question, this person that question, this person that question, because I couldn't decide myself on what I wanted to do for the stupidest tasks. About going to the grocery store. I don't know which one to go to. I couldn't make a fucking decision without someone else weighing in. That's a problem. So if that's you, you need to start working on these things to build your confidence. Also, so I did actually call on a friend yesterday because I'm working on this project for a fellow business owner, and I'm not getting anything out of it. I was just trying to help. But I needed to finish the task. I've been so busy lately that I hadn't gotten to it. I actually had one of my employees help me get it driven further last week, and then I needed to finish it up this weekend. And I was sitting here like, can't I just tell him I can't do the last two ones because I just don't have the time or resources to dedicate to it? And I'm like sitting here hemming and hawing. Do I spend 2 hours and just get it done? Or do I just tell him, listen, I've hit my max capacity. There's nothing else I can do for you, because I felt like that was setting a good boundary for myself. And then I realized that, all right, you know what? I'm going to feel more confident in myself if I just follow through and get this done. And I knew that, but I needed some encouragement to push me a little bit. Sometimes it's hard. So I called her and I said, listen, this is it. And she's like, no, just get it done. You're going to feel better. You're going to check it off your list, and then then you'll be done. And she was right. And that was what I needed affirmed to me. But I wasn't calling 5 different friends, complaining about the activity, and figuring out like what I needed to do, because that was the old Laura. Now, instead of asking for like a judgment call, I'm asking to affirm what it is that I need to do. Just give me a little push. I need a little encouragement, because quite frankly, I don't really want to do it. I just want it to be done. So that was better. I promise you. So getting the answer you need affirms it. You need the encouragement sometimes, and I'm here for that too. So if you're battling with something that you need to complete and you need just a little nudge in the right direction, just shoot me a message. I'll nudge you in the right direction. I hope this was helpful. The 5 ways to conquer self-doubt. And if you'd like to dive a little deeper, I encourage you to join the Self-Love Club. Go to myinnerstruggle.com and click on the Self-Love Club. There's a coupon code floating around for your first month for $5. It's a really great environment for us to build and help each other as women. It's something, that support was something that I was missing for a really long time. And I'm really, really grateful and honored to be a part of the transformations that these women are going through in working on building their confidence, getting rid of the self-doubt, finding their dreams, building their dreams, working on getting through their triggers and growing. And it is so fucking cool. And I want you to be a part of it. So jump on that at myinnerstruggle.com. Thank you for listening today. I am so happy that I got to share this with you. This was a lot of fun, actually. I'm coming to you on a Monday morning, and it feels really good after coming off of a really productive weekend. And I'm just so grateful that you're here with me. I'm grateful for so many things right now that I have going on in my life. And a year ago, I didn't think I'd be where I am now. Certainly. I wanted things, but I didn't really see the picture getting there, and I'm here and I fucking love it. So please join me with the Self-Love Club so that you can build your dream as well. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do love it, please share it with a friend and hit subscribe or like on social, wherever you're listening or watching. Check out the blog at myinnerstruggle.com and find me on Facebook and Instagram. And I'm looking forward to when I can see you again on the next podcast. If there's a topic that you want to know more about, or if you have questions, please shoot me a message. And as always, I am thinking of you and sending you love, and I will see you soon.